Welcome back to episode 5. You are listening to After Dark Paranormal Quest, and this is episode 5. You are joined by myself, Dave, and you are also joined by my colleague and
Brett,
fellow investigator, Brett. Yeah. Give it a chance. So pretty much this is episode 5, and we are going to be talking about Binbrook, RAF Binbrook, which is a former RAF base that we investigated very early on in our investigation, at the start of our HDC startup. So I think, like you've mentioned before, Brett, August time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's about August time, yes, give or take. It might have been in July, but it was a while ago now.
It's a hell of a while ago. This whole area is huge in its size. We had the unprecedented right, to the Heritage Centre, but the full area itself is huge. It's got area shelters, hangars. It's got a church on there, hospital.
Yeah, a lot of the hangars have been converted into their own kind of businesses, haven't they?
Yeah,
some of them have. There's still some of the original ones there and stuff. But yeah, like I said, the grounds are absolutely huge. So if we was to get the chance to do that full location, you'd have to
be a week.
Yeah, it's massive. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to cover it all.
No, not at all. The base itself is steeped in history, like most locations that we go to. This particular one is steeped in about 120 years of history, with everything all on site. When we did go into the war, they had to have everything there and ready for war, basically. So everything was all on site for the pilots and hierarchy. But that also includes entertainment, because when, of course, the country's not at war and everyone's staying on site, you need to entertain everyone.
Yeah, because they'll be on standby, won't they? So they can't leave.
That's exactly what it was. Everyone was on standby. So they had a big heritage centre with a big massive stage there, and they used to call in external performers, preferably normally women, because with it being a very men-orientated thing there, women coming in and doing what they do to entertain the males there. I think it kind of worked, so
yeah,
they did it that way. But we kind of, when we did the investigation, we realised it was females, because the voices we got through were female.
There was, yeah, the singing, yeah. That was amazing, that one.
Again, shush, you're jumping. Let me get into that part. You got to build up to it. Oh, days. Yeah, there was no singing, just forget that part. God almighty. So, no, this is episode 5, and it's going to be based on that. So, pretty much this whole area, when we arrived with a fellow colleague, Michelle, which she's been on the channel ever since, to be honest with you.
Yeah, she has, yeah. Apart from the... Oh, yeah, going forward, yeah.
Yeah, she's been on the channel ever since. And she was with her son, Brent, and her son's partner, Chloe. And
Richard as well.
I was a full house then. So we had pretty much quite a lot of people there. And we did start off just in front of the stage area. Did a few sweeps, had a walk around, get a use and a feel to the place, basically. Because the actual Binbrook, what do you call it, the heritage centre that we was in, was actually still a fair space. It was 2 levels, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
We had rooms above us, and we had a big area below. When I first walked in, it felt cold, felt dingy, and smelled like a care home, and I wasn't really feeling it, considering the amount of past that was in with these walls. It just didn't feel quite right.
Yeah, I think when we got there, like I say, I think it was probably the biggest location we'd ever been to. You know, out of all, I mean, we'd only done a few prior to doing Binbrook, but that would have been the biggest location we've been to.
Would have been. No, it definitely was. Fucking hell, yeah.
Yeah.
Even the building itself was the biggest building we've been to.
Oh, yeah.
Up to that point, yeah. Yeah, the location in general, yeah, that's huge. But yeah, the actual building was actually in, and we investigated that night, it's fairly big indeed. So yeah, of course, we had a quick walk around and see what we thought, and then we all sat down and started calling out. What are your memories of the whole location, Brett?
I remember, obviously, we sat there when we first got in there, around in sort of a kind of a circle on it, doing sort of like an EVP session, and I was sort of panning around with the SLS, hoping to capture something. And then we had the motion balls there as well. We had all them dotted about, so we had our own set, and then Michelle had brought her own set as well. We also had a couple of laser grids in there as well, didn't we?
Oh yeah, we did.
The laser grid, yeah. So we had Michelle had a laser grid. We just recently got one, so we tried that as well.
Why haven't you used ours since? You still got yours, haven't you?
Yeah, I've just forgot to bring it, to be fair. Yeah.
Would you forget your SLS on an investigation?
No.
So why are you forgetting that? Can't be dealing with your excuses, Brittany. It's like going to work and forgetting your work shoes.
I think the thing is with the laser grid. I don't know. I mean, it'll be good.
I can help you out there. To be honest with this laser grid, it's got to be very close proximity rooms where walls are fairly close, and you're going to be able to stare at this wall for long enough that if a shadow did cross over it, you would literally pick it up. Yeah,
or set up like say a still camera, but then coming back to reviewing that, it's going to be a bit of a drone going through all that.
Should we,
watching lights.
So who would have to look
yes,
through
okay,
that?
you would look through that. So I'm thinking of you really.
No, you're not. Oh Jesus Christ! Yeah, so that's another story that in itself. We could actually start using that from now on in really, but I keep forgetting
I'll
that
stick it in my little bag. So I don't bring my full case, and that do I normally.
No.
And I think it is. Oh no, it's in my actual silver case.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I just our last episode was the two things that I was going to mention on this episode. The first one was that spirit that follows me.
Yes.
Yeah, I just remembered that it just came to me. That spirit that follows me, but couldn't remember a name. It began with the L, and for the sake of me, I was trying to remember, and I just couldn't remember. Even when we came off air, I still couldn't remember. So I asked Michelle. It's actually Lucy or Lucille.
Yeah.
And we did,
one of the two.
I'm bouncing off subject here, but you know what I'm like. We did a revisit of a very, very good investigation, Manchester Arms pub. We actually did a revisit last week, and cut a long story very, very short because we actually aren't supposed to be talking about this location. On our equipment came through, Lucille.
Yeah, did you? Lucille, yeah.
So that was the first one. What was the second one that I wanted to mention? Oh, that was it. The episode where I left the EVP on my voiceover on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The episode, I believe it is Suicide House Part 2. I've double checked, and I think it's in the first 10 minutes that it comes up with. So if you're intrigued or want to find out what it says, or just listen to it with your own ears, click on that and see what you think. I'll just pop that in there.
Yeah.
Anyway. So back to the original talk, RAF Binbrook. So yeah, so the where was we?
It was in the stage area. Well,
yeah,
in the stage area, weren't we?
It was in the stage area. We started doing calling out. I found it really quiet at first.
Yeah, there was. Yeah,
Overly
it
quiet.
was. Yeah, it was. I think was doing like an EVP session for a good half hour, 45 minutes, I'd say.
So that point where your legs are aching and you still sat down.
Yeah, so then we sort of decided to move towards the stage area and go sit up there for a little bit.
Yeah.
And we did the same again, didn't we? Motion balls, EVP call out, and we left the SLS just in the corridor. Again, just to try and pick something up.
Yeah. I must admit, behind that stage area, I think that's where it started to feel creepy. But in all fairness, though, there was 4 of us. No, there was me, you, and
Mark,
and
Michelle,
and there were
Richard,
4. So there was
Brad.
7 of us.
Yeah,
7 of us.
And there was a lot of stuff on that stage as well, wasn't there? So it's trying to sit somewhere.
We was tripping over ourselves. And when we went behind that stage, it felt creepy. But because you're in a close proximity and you got a big, massive, old period curtain covering you, it's going to add to the feel. But the best part about it was when we all finally sat down and had everything set up, I clicked my EVP recorder on and I put it between my legs. And when you have that split second where no one talks for a good
it was just quiet, wasn't it?
10-15 seconds where we're all just digesting what we're going to say and just going on to our next choice and then our next move. We thought then we heard, I thought, because I remember saying out loud.
You did, yeah.
Can anyone hear that? And it was like a low tone murmur. So all I can explain it. And it sounded to me at that present time that it was outside.
Yeah, we thought it was near the stairs, didn't we? So me and Mark went down the stairs to check. And then we went into like the side room and where they'd normally get changed and stuff like that, ready for the show. And we did a quick sweep in there, but we couldn't hear anything or nothing else come about it.
No, I couldn't hear anything, but we all picked up with our ears. Because,
because I put my head near the door, didn't I, the fire exit door, to see if I could hear anything outside. We thought it could have been like somebody's house, in the distance, playing music or I don't know, something to cause that noise, but it was quiet.
Nothing. And then, of course, you think you heard something, and that's it, you move on to the next thing. So then when I came home and checked it out on the EVP, that we actually picked up a clear woman singing, and it was the weirdest thing I've ever heard. When I picked it up, first of all, with my own ears on my system that we use, it took me back a step because it's all right hearing an EVP, but I've never actually heard a residual energy re-loop.
It sounded period as well, though, didn't it?
Oh,
the tone
God,
of the voice and just the way it was.
And then we even checked the song out, Michelle. She checked the music out because it sounded. She said she's heard the song before. I don't know if I told you this part.
No.
And I was like, right, okay, yeah, that's fine. And then she got back to me and she sent me a YouTube clip. I'll have to pick it up for you and I'll show you.
Yeah.
And it literally, spot on. Absolutely spot on. And it was like a 1930s song.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounded
really weird song.
The EVP sounded real period.
Crazy. She went, I knew I'd heard it before, and it was an exact match-up, and this young woman, well, I presume she was young, I don't know. And singing along to it. And
well, you'd have thought that it'd been like in the 20s when you were something for mid-20s, something like that, yeah.
You would think so. So that was the first capture and a great start to the investigation. I mean, don't get me wrong, we didn't listen to back real time, so we didn't know at the present
time. Yeah, so up until then, it was pretty much a quiet night.
Yeah, literally quiet.
What we thought, anyway.
Yeah. And then, so we did a little look around the stage area and stuff like that. The whole building at this point, it's one of those where, you know, when you go to an investigation, you're going to have to work to build up the energy, let the spirits know that you're here for a reason, and you want kind of communication with any spirit that wants to communicate on regarding the afterlife. So we knew we'd have to work for it. But being behind that stage opened my eyes because that's where I felt the most creepiest out of all the areas that we did. I don't know. I mean, I wish personally we had access to all the hangars and.
Oh, just one hangar.
Yeah, because there was a pilot, wasn't there?
Yeah.
What was his name?
Oh God, rocking my brain now.
You said his name so many times that night.
Oh, Clubfoot. Clubfoot.
Yeah. You answered for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Clubfoot.
That was his nickname, wasn't it? Because he tried to sabotage someone else's plane.
He did. With it all being in close proximity with this. Right, we'll start this again. We're having problems with our mics. They've just turned off. So Clubfoot, in general, has his own story. With all the hierarchy and everything, all entertainment-wise, being mainly in this building that we was actually investigating this night, Clubfoot got a bit jealous, to say the least, of a fellow pilot because there was a lot of females coming in to perform and not perform. What is it? Do performances and that. Yeah, for the pilots and stuff.
Like entertainment and things like that.
Yeah, one certain woman, she kind of got close to one of Clubfoot's fellow colleagues, and Clubfoot didn't like it.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of tension between them. And what Clubfoot, his nickname's Clubfoot. His real name is Sergeant
Sinclair.
Sinclair,
yes.
Yeah, so his real name is Sergeant Sinclair. And he sabotaged his fellow pilot's plane by running into it before it set off and putting a homemade explosive bomb on the wing of it. But sadly, when he did this, it exploded. So he blew himself up on the actual runway itself. And this is recorded documentation. I've seen recorded information and documents on this via the news, which is fantastic to confirm it all. And so he's supposed to sit and reside in this building to this date.
And also, people have said that they see his apparition like walk up the airstrip and stuff.
And one of the bomber hangars, he likes to show himself a lot.
Yes.
And I know his shadow figure does get seen a lot in certain hangars, but because we didn't have access to any of the hangars, which is I'm still gutted about to this day, having no access to the actual hangars and the church, which was only next door, the hospital, which again is another place to
that'd have been good
activity in.
I think that'd be creepy though if I was to get in that hospital. I think it'd be really, really creepy feeling.
Well, you can imagine. I mean, the base itself, it wasn't hit by anything. The Germans or anything like that. So there was no actual bombs dropped in the actual base. It's only one of a few surviving bases that actually survived in England at that time. So no damage was ever created. But I still hazard a guess there was still people that passed in that hospital because it had been used for the local area.
I was going to say there had been people who've passed over.
So it would have been a great area to investigate.
Or any pilots would have come back and they've been injured and they could have suffered really, really
bad
injuries and then obviously died in the process.
General illness as well.
Yeah.
So we never had access to any of that. So we just had this communal hall. The communal hall is nice, don't get me wrong, but I just didn't think at that time when we walked in that. I just wasn't feeling it. I can cut this part out. I just wasn't feeling it at the time, but when the investigation came to light and we was going on a bit further with the investigation, it kind of fitted in, but the overall feel of the building itself Saying that though, looking back though, it was our first investigation, so I wasn't overly experienced in investigating.
No, yeah. To be fair, we'd only done a few prior to this, so we're still. Again, it was still every time you got an investigation, you're still learning. You learn new things all the time, but we were still sort of at basics. Really, when we had all the kit with us and stuff like that. We had great technology with us, but we was still.
I don't know. I don't think we did. I think we had them 2 rubbish cameras.
No, you had your. You didn't have the camera you've got now.
I had my Canon.
Canon, that's the one. Yeah, the Canon.
But I couldn't use that because it's got no night vision. So and I remember like Mark was doing B-roll, so I didn't need it.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, this 4K
camera.
came outside, didn't it? So in all fairness, the only camera I had was what I've got now to the stage, was so night vision.
I think another thing regarding it as well, I think, because normally if we're doing like EVP call-outs and stuff like that, it's normally just me, you and Mark. But then on this occasion, we had Michelle there, we had Richard there, we had Brandon and his girlfriend, so there's a lot more people there, so you sort of come out your comfort zone, because obviously you're just there in a quiet room, speaking, and there's like another 6 people there.
Yeah.
So I think that was a bit of a wake-up call as well.
The whole location itself, I think, was a bit of a wake-up call. Having people there as well doing an investigation, but it's kind of like, it felt like you do an investigation on stage, like 2 people.
Yeah.
So when you're calling out, you've got like 6 pairs of eyes.
No, that I think when you ask a question as well, in that scenario, you sort of doubt yourself as well. You know, you've asked a question, you think, oh, did I do that right, or should I have asked something different? And I think it'd go through my mind if I was like that.
Yeah, I must agree. I totally agree with that one. I mean, it was good nonetheless. It was still, I mean, we're still in our learning curve kind of days, so it was still good. We did on that same night as well. Sorry, there was a basement which was connected to the property itself, and this basement was horrible.
Yeah, I had an underpass all the way through, didn't it?
It did, yeah. It's literally, once you go down there, first of all, you can hear a pin drop because it's deadly quiet. But just walking down the stairs, everything was just concrete, so it just felt eerie straight away. And then you walk down the tunnel at the end of it, and you have, all I can explain is like an escape hatch.
Yeah, which led to the roundabout in front of the Heritage Centre.
Did it?
So it went under the road, and then the hatch. You could see where it said where at the wall, and it said Binbrook.
Yeah.
Like the little wall on the roundabout. I think there was some flowers around it. The hatch was there.
Oh wow, I didn't notice that part. Yeah, so that they had their own escape route just in case they were to get bombed. They could get out of the building safely and quick, which it was fantastic to go down. So I took Bren, which was Michelle's kid. I took his partner Chloe down there. Me and her just did a solo down there.
She was new to. This was probably her first investigation.
Oh,
she's never been on.
No, she's never done anything
like this before.
So
I think that's why you wanted to take her down there, didn't you? Because she'd be more nervous. So she'd drive up technically the activity, because obviously they feed off your energy.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, that's what I primarily thought at the time. That with her being so fresh and new to it, and she was really, I wasn't going to say over enthusiastic, but she wasn't. She was just enthusiastic, which was good to see.
Yeah.
Of course, we was a unit at this point doing what we do, so having an external person was very, very interested in what we do.
I mean, she was probably bouncing around, wasn't she? She was giddy. She was she was excited.
Yeah, she was excited, but then when it came to me and her doing solos and that, she'd ask stupid questions like, "What do you have for tea tonight?" I'm like, "What?" Honestly, some of the things I had to pause my recording.
But she's only young as well, and so she probably felt daft.
And I said to her, "You can't ask the spirit like that. I mean, you don't even know they eat anything." And she's like, "Yeah, but I feel nervous," and she's kind of cute when she said it. But so I was like, just pretend in your head that this spirit is definitely dead, and then just ask what you would ask a spirit if it was definitely dead. You know, you have to kind of come down to
ask questions to find out facts about the spirit. Yeah, essentially.
And she kind of got used to it. It took about 4 hours. Like, we kind of got used to it. Speaking of that, we was in that investigation for.
I left there about 2:00.
Oh, was it 2? I thought it was there.
No, 2:00. I think it was.
It was a long while. So we did that down there underneath the building itself. I checked all of it through. Didn't pick anything.
Shame, really, isn't it? It'd been great to have something down there.
No EVPs, no cat ball action, not having an orb, which is weird. And it felt when we was down there, yes, it felt a bit eerie, but you kind of know in your sixth sense that nothing's being picked up, and it's that.
Yeah, weird. And I think it feels more eerie because, like you say, you've got that. It's pitch black down there, which it was, and then obviously even if you've got ambient light, you've got that walkway down the ladders at the end, which just creeps you out anyway.
Yeah. And it's pitch black. You can't see. She could stand next to me, and I'd be none the wiser.
Yeah.
So we walked out after that, and I said, "Look, we need to try and kind of go with a plan B." Now we've heard from the caretaker that let us into the building previously that upstairs, the main hallway connecting various of rooms, and these rooms were used for. One of them was a yoga thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, they conveyed, aren't they?
Yeah,
It was at the end of the corridor, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then the other rooms were just like little spare offices and stuff like that. But the woman who let us in, she did say, if you're going to get any activity, it will be in that corridor. So I was like, and I remember this conversation, so I was like, stuff it. So I took Chloe upstairs to the corridor, and we sat at the very end of the corridor, and we called out. And that's where we picked up on editing when I look back at it, my first EVP, which was a woman. And if I remember rightly, I mean, this was a while ago, Chloe asked, we got to know what it was. We got a name through on the Spirit Talker. I can't remember the name. We got a woman's name through, and Chloe asked, "Is that your name?" And I'm sure the EVP that came through was, "Yeah, like that."
Yeah, I do remember that.
Something like that,
mm-hmm.
And it sounded like very much it was right at the end of the corridor that we picked it up at. Oh yeah, because my EVP recorder was right at the end of the corridor.
Yeah, you left it there, didn't you?
Left it
You
there,
were
and we
sat
did the
towards,
opposite side. The opposite side. So we picked that up, and that was literally minus the singing behind the stage and a couple of cat balls going off from the stage area was the only thing we picked up from that whole area.
Yeah, we did a few more stuff in other rooms, didn't we? Like the front room opposite the theatre. But yeah, out of all of that, yeah, regarding EVPs, that's really all what we picked up, to be honest.
Which is a weird thing, really, when you think about how much history is there, but it kind of isn't at the same time, because yes, the base was active during the war, both wars, but it never got hit by the Germans.
Yeah.
It was used in the war, so they've flown from there, which is proven because I checked the history on that. So they have flown and then flown back to that base afterwards. But there's no clear disasters ever happened on there. So literally, this base is been active through its time it's been running, but it actually hasn't necessarily been used primarily for war, and nothing's actually been dropped on it to actually damage it or kill anyone. So the story of Clubfoot, yes, it's a fantastic story, but in my head, is that all it was? Is that something that's been conjured up over the 100+ years it's been running to make the place more appealing in its later life? Again, we don't know, but we had nothing evidence-wise to back that up.
No, we didn't.
We didn't.
I mean, if we'd have probably got
anything Clubfoot up,
if we was able to get into a bunker or something like that, then it could have been a different story. But
because we need to add as well,
if what's and buts is one of them.
No, it is the big time, and we need to add as well. When we got to the location, we bumped into were their father and son them two, or they were just colleagues?
I think there was colleagues, but one was just younger than the other one.
So it was an older gentleman, probably in his 30s, 40s, and a younger kid, definitely in his 20s, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And the younger kid there pulled a few of us aside and told them a story. I mean, I wasn't there, so you'll have to explain the story for the.
I'm just trying. I do remember him saying about a worker there in one of the bunkers, and like inside the bunker, hangar. Sorry. And I think it had like an office in there, and I'm just trying to think what he was saying to me. But he said that he'd gone in. I think he'd gone into the office, and as he walked into the office, he thought his boss or his other colleague was sat in the chair. Yeah, sat in the chair. So I think he'd put his coat down or got his coat. Then he'd come back out, and then somebody else come up to him and said, "Oh, what did he say?"
I remember you telling me the story where the kid had walked into one of these old hangars.
But it was locked.
And he said that
it was locked.
A colleague of his was staying late, wasn't he?
Yeah.
His colleague. So he walked in and just seen this apparition, normal person, just sat in a chair, working away, doing his thing.
But the door was locked because when he approached this other guy, he's like, "Oh no, I've just locked up. I've just left that office and I've locked up. There's no one in there."
Yeah, so he's walked in, seen this apparition, looks so clear as day.
He might not have gone in. I might have got confused. I think what might have happened then is he's gone in there, he's got his coat or his bits or whatever locked up, and then somebody's gone into that hangar, and obviously in the office, like a few windows, gone in, and then obviously seen someone in the chair, so he's come out. And then spoke to this other guy and said, "Oh, is he working late or saying something?"
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
And he's like, "There's no one in there. I've just locked up now."
So they've gone back in.
I've just seen somebody in there, so they've gone back in.
And there's no one there.
Yeah.
And the kid, like, you can see it in his face, couldn't you? Do you know when someone tells you a story about anything regarding the paranormal, or they're just not too sure about? The first thing that you do, and you don't know you do it, is you're reading that person's body language, and this is my personal thing anyway. You read the body language, and that's what said you don't know you're doing it, and you can just tell the expression and the tone of the voice
and the way they're explaining
he was explaining it, and he wants to explain it in such detail, and you can hear it in his voice that this thing happened, and it scared the living daylights out of him, and to this day can't understand why and how he just completely missed it. But it's just a really good story to hear that stuff like that does happen to anyone general. I mean, I think he did say, and I'm sure Mark told me this, that he wasn't a believer until that moment.
Yeah, he did say
he didn't believe anything.
He was a skeptic regarding it, and then he said since then it's just totally changed, man. Which it just shows you. I mean, like you say, we always say, you know, there'll be loads of people who are interested in the paranormal, but they just don't promote it. They don't talk about it because they just feel embarrassed. Maybe, I don't know.
It's almost like it's very much almost like an omen not to believe because people judge you on it. Like the music that you listen to. Like I've said before on previous podcasts, I've been in the shower and I've put some music on and Little Mix is coming and I've been singing away. Happy as Larry in that shower to myself in my own home, and it's been Little Mix. But if I told the colleague at work that, they'd laugh their head off at me and say, what the hell are you listening to Little Mix for? So in my head I'm thinking, but if I listen to a tune that's got a massive background beat to it and everyone knows it in a beat there, that makes it more substantial. It doesn't.
No.
You know what I mean? It's one of those things where people prejudge you on your hobbies, in your thoughts, in your beliefs, and it shouldn't be like that.
No, it shouldn't.
This is the way the world works now. It's a sad state of affairs that if you didn't, in my head, I mean, I was bullied as a kid, ever so slightly, only just, because I was in the rugby team and stuff like that, it never really happened, but the year above me had a few little individuals that like to take the mick, and I got a few digs in the arm and stuff like that. You're going to get.
Yeah, it's just school, innit?
Yeah, you just grow up and you go through that, but as life's gone on, it kind of comes to you how it works and what actually happens, and it just seems in my head that if you do not, or you are not seen to be liking something that everyone else likes, then you're classed as an outcast and you stand out for the wrong reasons. It should not be like that. Like people that know me, I'll tell you, you got me on one now. All you got to do is say one thing and it just triggers something in my head. So when I firstly got interested in the paranormal, I used to watch it religiously, and that's just pretty much how I really got the bug for it. So any kind of paranormal TV program, whether it's rubbish, good, mediocre, English, American, any country, I think
you get intrigued, don't you? Because even if nothing happened, you watch the next episode because you think, well, something could happen.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm like.
Yeah, so I've always watched them to see what they're seeing and to kind of feel what they're feeling. Of course, we ended up making a decision and trying to feel and see that ourselves. But that's, again, we've mentioned that on previous podcasts. So that's just one of those. But that's how I really got into it. And what it is, it's a weird state of affairs. Like, I didn't tell anyone about it because I knew damn well people would judge me. And it's only like when you get to your late 30s, well, my personal opinion, I got to my late 30s, I thought I didn't give a flying F-U-C-K. I just didn't care anymore. And then now when I go to a job or I go and speak to someone I would never, like in the pub or something like that, and they say, oh, so what do you do then? What have you been up to? And I explain it to them. Because I explain it in such an awe and such a passion, and my voice radiates, and they hang on every word that I say because I've got a true belief that life does exist after that, when you pass over. This person sat in front of me and they're like flabbergasted, and they listen to every word I've got to say.
I was going to say, I bet when you're doing that, I was just about to ask. I bet they're like, they're amazed. Yeah.
And they'll turn around and say, and they'll ask me questions, and they're intrigued. And, and I think personally, everyone in this entire world is intrigued, but only, I'd say.
But then after all those questions, this person or whatever, if this scenario ever come again, they ask you all these questions about, oh, have you seen this or what's happened? And then at the end of it, said, do you believe in it? Nah, I don't believe any of that, mate.
Yeah.
But after all those questions, it's like, hang on a minute, you've just been so interested.
It's like they're going to a trance.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when they break out of it and you ask them, oh, so are you interested in the paranormal? Nah, I ain't got an interest. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
So they go back to the manly thing or the womanly thing.
That's the one where it's just curious. I'm just curious. And it's like, you're going to go home now and you're going to start watching some stuff.
Big time.
Definitely.
The amount of people that, you see, I'll tell you a few little facts to everyone listening, how little things that you shouldn't really broadcast. So every time someone subscribes to my channel, I get a personal email, and the email tells me the username, your original name, and it says when you subscribe, so whatever minute it was or 5 minutes ago, what this, that, the other. And it's a notification direct from YouTube. The amount of people I've spoke to on my old workplace or just general, either at the pub, like I've mentioned, or just anywhere in passing, and then literally you'll see it come on your email, ping, and
Well,
they've
they've
registered,
subscribed.
they've subscribed, and you think, wait there, you just told me an hour ago, I don't believe, and
Well, yeah,
this
they've
isn't
just
my thing,
subscribed to
but
your
just
channel.
subscribe to the
Yeah.
channel.
But yeah, it's one of them, innit?
I ain't
You've
bothered.
converted somebody.
yeah, converted, yeah. But you'll always find that though, and it's weird. Like, I just don't understand why people believe in this world that if you don't love or believe in something that everyone else does, then you're going to be outcasted. It's not like that. And at the end of the day, if you've got a passion for something, go out there and do it.
Yeah, you progress with it. Like,
oh,
say
just do it.
you create your own goals and you try, and then the main focus is to accomplish those goals. And like Dave was saying, it's when you're younger, you sort of tend to follow other people because you think
you follow the pattern.
Yeah,
what you think's right.
That's normality, and you don't want to be an outcast and stuff like that. But like, say when you get to a certain age, you're just like, well,
It's like
I'm just doing this.
When you've been here before, that one Saturday night, the music I was putting on my TV, you must have thought, what the hell? Because you kept saying to me, play the stuff that you like. So I thought, stuff that I will.
Yeah.
And you must have thought, this is like, quite a lot of times you was going, oh, I remember this. Oh, I remember this.
Yeah.
It's just stuff that's drained in my head so many years ago, and it's never gone out. And it's just certain songs that I enjoy. It's just,
I think songs like that, like say what you was playing and things, it just brings back memories for when we was younger and doing whatever we was doing.
I never forget them memories.
Yeah.
I've got so many memories as a kid, and it's something that'll always be drummed inside me, and I'll never forget.
That's why I love music, because it just gives you. It just brings them all back.
Have you ever had it where you've been doing something like, I don't know, going to a shop or something, and you've had that one smell like you've never smelled for in like 20 years, but it's brought back a memory of 20 years ago? I've had that so many times, and you think, where the hell is that memory come from? That's like a music track. If I'm flicking through YouTube, because YouTube's really good, it's got a good algorithm. So if I'm listening to a certain genre of music, it will then pick up stuff that's very similar to era.
Yeah, well,
so
then it gets you onto new songs, then, doesn't it? And
it mixes it up. It's similar like what Spotify does actually, and sometimes you'll come across a song, for example, that you've not heard in God knows how many years, but then it brings back all these memories, and then memories flooding back to your head, which you thought you'd forgot and you couldn't remember, calms you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
and you just get like a little smile on your face, don't you?
Yeah.
Depending what obviously memory comes through and stuff. If it's a good memory
definitely it does, and I just think if you believe in something and you really want to go and achieve something, or just go for a hobby that maybe not necessarily everyone has, go and bloody do it. I seriously think just go out there and do it, because if you don't do it, you're only gonna turn back to yourself in 10 years time and think, why didn't I 10 years ago push something that I really believe in? And this is very much how HDC started, I believe.
Yeah.
Because I came out of a 10-year relationship. I swear to you now, it was
Me and you had lost touch, didn't we? So
yeah,
we were
and it was such a when you've been together for 10 years and you literally had one day, maybe 2 days apart in 10 years. So she was like my best friend at the time, of course. You get into such a pattern, such a what's the word? Routine. You get into a routine, so everything outside that bubble is pretty much outside that bubble, and you don't really think too much of it. So all my thoughts, aspirations, and hobbies, and something I wanted to progress in life, kind of were thoughts, and that's where it stayed, and nothing really.
There was just what ifs.
Yeah, and they're horrible. Then what ifs?
Yeah,
freaking horrible. So I'm going through life with her, and don't get me wrong, I love the bones of her, but also the paranormal thing and stuff like that. Never really progressed. I just ended up watching it on TV or YouTube or whatnot, and I never really progressed with actually doing it myself. And so when we split up after 10 years, that everything kind of started to fit into place, and I started to question myself more. And I remember waking up. Don't get me wrong, it took me a year to get over this breakup, by the way, because I'd lost my best friend. This is another fucking podcast, isn't it? So in that year, the amount of times you question your ability to, number one, be on this earth, and number two, what you want to achieve in life going forward, because you got to remember, your heart's going through a breakup. Your heart and your brain are separate. So your heart wants to do one thing, but your brain's telling you something totally different. And in my head all the time, I'm waking up every morning thinking, right, what do I want to do today to make it different? Or what do I want to do tomorrow to make it different? To try and take my mind off the fact that
try and get out of a routine.
I'm going through a depression. Literally, I was going through a depression. And it's only that random phone call from you, that one night, that video call. We both had a few drinks.
And we're just talking about ghosting. To be fair, we were saying about the we've gone back. So
back in time.
Speaking about memories, we've gone back. We started going on about the Hompton. That's in one of the
RAF
episodes.
Hompton.
Yeah, RAF Hompton. Yeah, we forgot the name. We just said bunker in Witherspoon.
Yeah,
Yes, RAF Hompton.
Yeah.
They was just on about that, and then you just sort of said, "Oh, we should do it ourselves."
Just start it up, and then you have your 20-minute, half an hour pissed up conversation, and then you wake up in the morning, and it's like a breath of fresh air and that second wind in your chest. And I just knew from that day on, that split second phone call, believe it or not, this is my path. And ever since I started investing my energy and my efforts into After Dark, every problem I had in my life that day disappeared. And I got over Nikki, and it took me a year, all in all. I got over, I shouldn't have mentioned her name, I can edit that part out. I got over her, and I literally pushed forward in life and what I want to do well and achieving. And I knew this After Dark, it was just a project at the time. My mind was just taken elsewhere, and I was just focused primarily on this. And to this day now, and I'll say this to you now, I will never in a million years ever change that.
Oh no,
Never
like I
change
say,
that.
it was a good decision to make. Like I say, going forward,
Fantastic, because it just you just want to blare, you just want to talk, but it's not about the paranormal, but it is, because it's how it's how After Dark started.
yeah.
And I just think, when I look back at it now, sometimes even now, when I get up for work or when I'm making a cup of tea or watching football or something, you just have that little time where you just sit there and ponder about yourself. I do it more than often, I think, but I just sit there and ponder. I think, oh God, I'm so happy where it is now, because the messages I get on Instagram, they're enough.
Yeah, the interactions and stuff where you go in.
Days. I'll get a random message saying, look, I've come across your videos. You're absolutely fantastic. Keep doing what you're doing. And like, have you seen the recent comments on the recent videos? On the recent video upload?
No, not yet, no.
Just like comments saying, look, really good investigation. At 25 minutes, so and so, I picked this up, and I'm thinking, I'm so chuffed you've listened that far.
Yeah.
But it takes me 12 hours to edit it. But these people are taking their time and their effort and their own life to watch my content.
Yeah.
And it makes me proud as punch. And if you look back when we finish and we go off live here, look back in our comments, and there's comments after comments of people picking up things that haven't stopped picked up in the edit.
Well, yeah, which is good though, because like, that's
no, it's not, because I've just edited this for 12 hours, and I've missed fucking certain things, and they've like picked it up with their own ears. I'm like, wait there, am I doing my job that bad? So like, this one woman, she's like picking up things. I'm like, and I've flipped back on the video and I've checked, and I'm like, Jesus, yeah, she's picked it up, and I've clearly hear it in my ear, but why haven't I picked it up on this? But that's what I love. It's I've got a passion for something that I really, really have doing what we do. But knowing that the passion that we've got as a team, we then push on to other people that take the time out of their lives to, number one, listen and view our content, but number two, support it.
Yeah, interact with it.
And interact. It's just, honestly, I don't think people listening understand what it means to a creator to be able to read and hear and see that, because every given day that I spend on this earth, 90% of it is revolved around After Dark and how I want to push it, which avenue we want to take, and which road and choice I want to, this, that, the other. But to hear your feedback and your ideas or you letting me know that you've watched the upload and I can't wait for the next one, stuff like that's enough. It keeps me plodding on. It really does, and it warms my heart every single time I read it. So please keep them coming. Seriously, keep flooding them in, because
keep warming his heart.
Keep warming my heart. It's getting cold now. It's still winter. But no, it's just really good. And don't get me wrong, our platform's not massive, but I would definitely I will say we are new, we are unique, and we are different. And we are different because, number one, you got me and you got Brett, two different ends of the spectrum. He's very methodical in what he does in life, and I'm totally the end of that. I'm the opposite of that. It just seems to work well on investigations. He's got the tech.
Yeah, we just gel together.
Yeah,
so the chemistry between us is just, we have a laugh. It's it's not all serious, and that's what we do. We just have a general laugh, and then obviously get some great evidence in between.
110%. Totally agree with every word you just said there. And also, when you've got a team that does work well together, and you've got Michelle, that also, she's definitely part of the team. And then you add that to a location, and you're going to that location for the main reason of finding that paranormal activity, that content, that proof of life after death. It just seems to fit into place. And then when you edit it and put it up for the general public to view, decipher, and think what they want to think, and then I get the feedback that we do, it just A, B, C, and D just add together. It's just perfect to me, and that's how it should be. We're not a massive organisation. We're not huge on any level, shape or form, and there's a lot of production companies out there that are massive. But when you compare the evidence that we get to what they get, I believe we win hands down, and I always will. You look at Ghost Adventures, you can watch a 45-minute episode of Ghost Adventures and they may only get one EVP, and even still, that'll be a class C and below. It's not perfect.
Yeah.
Or if it is perfect, brilliant. But that's near enough what you'll get. With us, the amount of care and attention that goes into an edit, the viewing of all the evidence takes hours.
Doesn't say the time
hours,
consuming
hours.
between
Oh,
it, yeah.
God.
People don't realise, obviously, it's alright, yeah, it's like, oh, I'll watch this video on YouTube, it's an hour long. Oh,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
that's long, that's long. It's like, well, going through all the footage, editing it, like, say, obviously you do all that. So you're talking, just going through your evidence, you're talking, like, what, 12 hours, just going through before you can
Just do it
start
for
to
the
edit.
evidence before you start to edit, and then you've got another...
Then you've got to timestamp stuff you've caught before you even put it into the edit.
The quickest thing is the edit. Believe it or not, the quickest thing is the edit.
Yeah,
so looking through it all and pulling out, because I've got another pad. I think it's in that drawer, the bottom drawer. If I see a bit of evidence, I have to timestamp it.
Yeah,
and then I go back.
Yeah, so when you put it into your
cut it
editor,
into it.
you can just cut straight away.
Yeah.
So yeah,
so I know exactly where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. In my head, I think, oh, it's going to save me hours and hours of work. It doesn't. It saves me minutes. But that's how generally how I like
you get
to do
used to it, don't you? It's just one of them things.
It is, and people edit differently. People do it differently, and people use different software than what I use and stuff like that. So it's all different. But in all fairness, though, these big companies out there, like I was saying before, they have big budgets. They have fantastic equipment, and they have Zach Bagans. They have presenters that look the part, the muscles fit, the face fits, the voice fits, everything just friggin'
Yeah, you can
fits.
tell he's getting a lot more money now from Series 1.
Oh yeah,
It looks totally different.
The cars that he drives, he's got a Tesla, he's got God knows what.
And his teeth are straightened.
Yeah, but they were at the start,
Oh,
though,
no,
were they?
no.
I mean, look at Aaron. Aaron was like fucking 15 stone overweight, and now look at him, he's now on him now.
And you notice on this podcast, we always go back to Ghost Adventures.
It's our passion, though. Ghost Adventures. It's where it all started for
I
me.
just thought I'd mention it because I think if you go for every podcast, it's always a bit in there.
I know. We love Ghost Adventures, yay! We've got a little picket hanging out our hand.
Can we collab with you? Imagine that.
Oh, I'll be dribbling, I tell you. Friggin' hell. No, but it's seriously, I just think all these production companies do have big budgets, but they have to have certain content to compensate for them big budgets. But basically, when you cut that budget out, does that necessarily mean that you're going to cut all the evidence out? No, does it? Heck, and that's where us come in, people like us, and we still provide that content because we thoroughly love it, enjoy it, and that's where I stand at the moment. There's another thing though, I must admit, that I've realised. Do you know when I was on about the bullying? I was on about the bullying thing.
Yeah.
Now this is not down the same path as bullying, but I've noticed one thing that never hardly happens. You will never see, like other paranormal teams that work like with us.
Yeah.
Or doing the same thing as
us.
us.
Doing the same thing, yeah. Oh, do you mean like them trying to sabotage someone else's channels?
No. I've never, and I do it, and I'll explain why I do it. I'm exactly the same, so it's kind of like bullying, but it's not.
Alright.
I will never promote another paranormal team on my platforms.
Oh, right, I get you, yeah.
Because I don't want them to get any clout from what we've got.
Yeah.
Or if we lose subscribers and they go across thinking that they're better than us. But you'll never get it where they promote us. Never.
Oh, no, yeah.
Never in a million years. Like when
unless you collab with them.
Unless you collab with them,
they'll promote,
you're on their visual equipment.
Yeah, but
they've got to.
I reckon, like you say, because I watch other paranormal groups on YouTube, Haunted Finders and stuff like that.
That's another thing. I'm gonna.
But I mean, they'll probably watch our stuff. But again, I don't promote them.
No.
Oh, no, they're not.
Do you know
no,
what?
but you have watchers, don't you? Where they don't not subscribe
on YouTube. The analytics. I've got everything. I know. I'm gonna blag their man now. Right. So first of all, we'll start with Instagram. Instagram, I've got the dashboard. On the dashboard, it tells me my top 50 users that view,
most interactive users and things like that. Yeah.
All that. Now, I've looked at all that, and I look at it daily because it's more curiosity than anything else. Now, I'm close to other paranormal groups to a certain extent where they keep messaging saying, do you want to collab, do you want to collab, do you want to collab? Which is fair enough, and one day it will happen.
Yeah.
When we can get around to it and get a location sorted and this, that, the other. But then I'll look at my socials. They don't either follow or view or look at any of it.
What, these paranormal teams who are asking to collab?
Every one of them. And then I also look at the YouTube.
But they just contact you, like DM you, and then...
Yeah. And I look at the YouTube. They don't have any subscribed to our YouTube. So I've messaged them, a few of them back saying, but you're not on any of our socials, and you don't follow, or you've not watched any of our videos, because every time someone watches a video, I can tell.
Yeah.
And they don't reply back, because they know they don't. And I know why they don't do it.
Right.
Why do you think they don't do it?
Well, watch our videos.
Well, there's facts here. Number one, they want to collab. Now, 9 times out of 10, you'll have a paranormal team that want to collab for one main reason. Clout. That's the main reason. They want to collab because they know you're doing something that they want to do, or your evidence that you've captured is really good, or good to a certain extent.
Or like you say, get the subscriber up.
Yeah.
Get the subscribers up on their channel, because obviously they've got...
Yeah.
Well, the other team they're collabing with have got a few more then.
Yeah. So if I put like a black thing on your arm and it sucks blood, what are they called? Leeches.
Leeches, yeah. So
That's all
so
they
they're
are.
leeching for the subs.
That's all they are. That's all they are.
Well,
so,
they're leeching for the fans, basically.
Yeah.
But they probably won't get much evidence, but they'll use the collab episode evidence. Even though if we captured it, you've edited it, and you've done it on our channel, they'll say, oh, we was collab with them, so then they'll use that. Yeah, I get
so that's the reason why you'll get these collaborations come through all the time. And I'll honestly, I get 3 or 4 a week. No, I'm lying, a month, but I'll say weekly. A month, smart. And they said when I collab, and first of all, I'm like, we'll try and sort something out, and then I'll look into the background of it. And why
good job. It's good job you looked really though.
I always look because I do it myself. Now, in the UK, we have a few paranormal. I'll call them organisations. We can't call them companies. Well, they might be companies because they might be earning off it. We are a company because we don't earn fig all off it. So I'll call them organisations. Broad spectrum, just for argument's sake. There's 2. The Ouija brothers. Now they are big, and then we've got Haunted Finders. Now I follow both of them.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
I follow both of them on my YouTube channel. So HDC follow them, and my personal channel, which you do as well, don't you?
Yeah.
I also follow them on all my socials, which you do as well, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So we follow and we watch their content, 110%, because they're good at what they do.
Yeah.
I learn from them. So the way they edit. I will look at. Oh God, you've got me on one now. You just have to look at me. And it gets me out of world. So what I'll do is I'll look at Haunted Finders edits and I'll look at Ouija Brothers edits. So before even HDC ever started, I was not editing, so I didn't really look that far into other people's edits. I didn't.
Yeah, you just watched it.
Yeah, I just watched it and enjoyed it, and that was it.
Turned
it off.
At different points where they've maybe cut that part and stuff.
I'm a stickler for it.
So you'll see the video totally.
I know when they're cut. I know when they've dubbed over it. I know when the overlay is supposed to kick in or when it's supposed to kick out. I know everything because I've done it myself. So I'm ridiculing every fucking thing they're doing. And when they do a mistake, I'm like, "Boom! I know, I've caught it." But the main fact is they've got certain amount of evidence, and their aura on screen is enough to keep me coming back every time, which it does to every other person that watches their content. That is definitely fair enough, but that's the reason why I watch it. So I support and I watch their content for that many reasons. I enjoy it. So that's another paranormal group enjoying another paranormal group doing it. Yeah. But you'll never find it the other way around with us. I always get approached from paranormal teams that are wanting to leech, or they've watched our content and liked it that much where they think they can gain something from it. Yeah. And so quite a few of them I'll say no, and a few of them I'll say we'll look into it, but nothing ever gets done. Because I know we're going to get to where we are and where we're going to get through our hard work, pure determination, and wanting to do well and to achieve well, and not leech of other people. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. If the Ouija Brothers or Haunted Finders came and approached us,
do you want to collab? It's like, yes.
Mate, I'd have my tail in my underbelly straight away. Let's go. I'll be fucking straight there. But that's because I already watch their content. Yeah. And I already view what they do.
It doesn't seem as bad, because obviously we watch it, we enjoy what they do, we know what they do. So for them to come and approach us to collab, it's
privileged.
We'll be privileged,
Yeah, definitely.
Because the amount of subscribers I've got, I mean, you're talking, Haunted Fans, over 80,000 subscribers. I mean,
Ouija Brothers at 60, aren't they?
I don't just want us to collab with them just to try and, like you're saying, like leeching subscribers. It's not about that. It's about, because we enjoy watching them. No. I'd like to personally be in the same room and do what they do.
That part I agree with, but the first part I disagree with. Yes, I want to collab.
Well,
and yes, I want to collab because I know I want to get something cool.
Yeah,
but the difference is
that's not the main point.
The difference is though, Brett, we watch their content.
Yeah,
have done for years.
Yeah.
We also follow their content. we've never shied away from that. No, we're in the same field, we've never shied away. But all these teams that are coming and approaching us,
which
don't
not
follow
following.
our content, don't watch our content. What it is, they've heard our name, they've checked our subs and our view counts to per video, or something very minute, and want to jump on the ship. And anyone that jumps on the bandwagon with me gets washed off.
Yeah.
Whereas if they were to purchase Ouija Brothers and Haunted Founders, we've got a right to collab with them because
we follow them. Yeah.
We follow them. We watch their content. We are a supporter.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we do support them. Yeah, definitely.
So if you listen out there, Ouija Brothers and Haunted Founders,
give us
contact me on my email.
Yeah, give us a DM.
Oh, you know what I'm like. I got into a rant.
Content is great. It's really good.
It is. It really good. It really is good. But I do daily, hourly, even sometimes envision where I'd like us to be, and it's nowhere like not achievable. It's like very minimalistic.
No, it's definitely achievable. It's just a case of it's just time. That's all. It's building it. It's basically, you can put it in context. It's like when you go to an investigation, you've got to build up the energy for something to interact or happen, and it's the same with this. The same with YouTube. You've got to give it time for it to build up and build up and build up, and then before you know it, you'll be at your goal, and then after that, it'll just be like, oh, if we get another subscriber, it's fine.
It's like paranormal foreplay. It was just stuck in my head that I was waiting for you to shut your mouth so I can say paranormal foreplay, but it is. It is. I totally agree. No, I do agree. I do love it, and I do have these goals and aspirations and things set in my head, and I do believe wholeheartedly that we will get to where I believe we deserve to be. But again, it takes time. But what people have got to remember, and I think they probably already do because they might have followed us from the start, we started with zero, niente, nothing.
We had 2 cameras, 2 rubbish cameras anyway.
It was like Ghost Adventures again.
Yeah.
3 cameras, 1 destination, 3 best mates. That is very similar to what we are.
Yeah.
We started with nothing, no equipment, no
very basic EVP recorder.
no social, nothing. Yeah,
No,
everything was just basic, and then
no episodes on the YouTube until obviously the grey one got done, and that was obviously the first episode.
Yeah, it was.
It went from there.
It's all been slow going, but it's been a steady pace where it's been achievable, but more importantly, very, very enjoyable. And I think if you get them 2 aspects in at the same time, and you've got 2 guys that do work well on and off screen, you kind of onto a good mix. And then, of course, add the third mix, which is like a football game. The crowd is the third man. So when the 2 teams are playing on a pitch and they're trying to beat each other, the crowd is the third man, and the third man in our field is you got your guys' comments and you guys watching our content and commenting back and communication and this, that, the other. That's the feedback.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Yeah, I thought I'd just blab on, but we will go on.
I do have an announcement to make.
Wait there, let's just go back and wait there, let's have a sip of my wine. One sec. Hold the phones, ladies and gentlemen. We have an announcement from the Bretster. Bearing in mind this guy looks, acts, and he is Zach Bagans. Number 2, the announcement is over to you, Brett.
So, do you want the good news or bad news?
I don't know. Bad news.
Bad news first?
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay. So, the bad news is we was going to be doing a charity event.
Oh.
However, the location that I was going to do it at this year has now been deemed as unsafe and is now closed, which is Skidbrook.
Due to the bad weather.
Due to the bad weather, storms
Damage
apparently.
storm.
That is the bad news. The good news is...
I heard there's good news.
No. Oh, yeah, you might have done actually, when I come in. So the good news is...
You didn't tell me.
What?
You didn't tell me Jack when he came in. He said, I've got
No. The good news is I'm having a Sunday dinner today.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I was pinning my hopes you were turning on and saying, I'm leaving this franchise. I can't be arsed with it anymore. I'm done with you. I'm done with this.
I just thought after last week when you said, hey, you had a Sunday dinner. Like, no, I wouldn't have one today. I thought this week, I'll do that.
I do apologise, ladies and gentlemen. The person next to me has definitely lost the plot. It's nothing to do with me and nothing to do with HGC, so I will not be accountable for his actions. But we will move on. The questions, we have got various of questions that have been sent in. Well, I've wrote 4 down. There's a few more, but I've wrote 4 down because we're already at 56 minutes already. So this first question, I'm gonna put this up first because I like this question, and I've read it and I've wrote this out, so I kind of have in my head what I'm going to say.
Oh, I've got to think.
But Brett's got to think. And when Brett thinks, I get blood on my carpet, so his nose starts bleeding. So him and thinking do not match.
Go on then, read the question.
Right, so first question. Oh, I forgot to put the names though. So I do apologise. If you hear your question, I'm sorry I forgot to put your names. But the first question is, if you could choose 3 people, alive or dead, to do an investigation at a most haunted location in the world, who would it be and why?
So 3 people, either alive or dead.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So yeah.
I'd definitely take Aaron.
Oh, no. Don't go down that stupid route. You're going for a fellow paranormal.
No, so I can't use paranormal.
Right, I'm not going to read the question out again, because you've already heard it.
Yeah.
You've got people alive and dead. So
Yeah.
you've got Queen, for Christ's sake.
Oh, no.
You've got Michael Jackson.
See, I was going to say that was my next one.
No,
Michael
it wasn't.
Jackson. Yes, it was.
Go on. I'll let
Yeah,
you speak.
so Aaron. What's his surname?
Aaron Goodwin.
Goodwin, that's the one, yeah. Aaron
Oh,
Goodwin.
dear.
Yeah. Michael Jackson. What's the one on the third one? Kevin Bridges,
Who the hell is Kevin Bridges?
comedian.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. So I'd take them because I'd like Aaron there because I am a massive fan of Aaron. It does make me laugh. And I'd like to work alongside him anyway. Michael Jackson, he was one of my all-time favourite artists.
Ow!
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Maybe show him the moonwalk.
Yeah.
And then Kevin Bridges, I do like him as a comedian. So funny. I think he's Scottish. But just to have a comedian there, just to get their reactions and some of their responses from anything happening would be quite amusing.
I think a comedian on an investigation would be funny, but would you want to be laughing on an investigation? That's the thing.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he's going to be rocking up jokes. I mean, he's going to just his reactions and and just some like little sad comments from those reactions. What he's had, like, "Yo, you jumpy," and say some, stuff like that.
Snap, quick reactions.
Yeah.
So mine would be, first of all, Kevin Hart. Do you know who he is?
Wrestler, right?
No, he's a comedian.
Kevin Hart, yeah.
Number one, I don't watch wrestling. I never have. But yeah, he's a comedian slash film star. So movies and that.
Real small.
Yeah. But he's so hilariously funny.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to watch him in stand up, but because he's American and very much American based, you have to fly over there, so it's a bit of a pain and very expensive. So he'd be the first one. The second one, I know it sounds stupid, but it leads on to the second one. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Oh yeah, because they've been in the film.
They are fantastic together. They bounce off each other like me and you do.
Yeah.
But they're very much the same. And he's a big statue of a man, but I know damn well you're putting him in a paranormal atmosphere.
You'd soon see him change.
You'd soon see him change, and I think I'd love to see that be good for camera. And then I'd also look for the beauty side of it. So I've got an infatuation for 2 females in my life. Number 1, Cheryl Cole, but she's going to take a back step.
Right.
I think
So Cheryl's not coming on the investigation.
Cheryl's not coming on. Sorry, Cheryl. Contact me, DM me, and we can try and sort something out at a later date. But I think the most beautiful woman I think I've ever seen in my entire life is 2. There's Cascada. She never ages, and there's Shania Twain.
Oh, she's aged now, Cascada. I saw last year.
Oh, she?
Yeah, she looks really old now.
Oh, I'll go with Shania Twain then.
Yeah. Honestly, I was like, what?
Have you seen Shania Twain? She's
Not
like
recently, no.
in her 50s, and she is absolutely phenomenal. She's got the voice of an angel, but unfortunately now she's lost her voice now, so she can't sing for a living.
Oh, she?
Yeah, she lost it about 2 years ago, I think. She had something wrong with her throat, her voice, and she lost it, but her singing is fantastic. But I watched a documentary on her. It was like an hour's long. To know she did a massive concert in America. I want to say Ohio, in America. One of the biggest ones she's ever done.
Yeah.
And it showed her designing the whole set, the whole production behind the set, and everything in between. She wanted to be in everything, and I was like, what a woman. What a woman. If she can do this and orchestrate what she wants because she's got a vision,
Yeah.
I want her on my investigation. So it'll be Shania Twain for the third one. But if there were to be a silent fourth one, just in case, I would probably go with Michelle Keegan. Michelle
Yes,
Keegan.
good choice.
She has got the biggest soft spot in my heart. If you are listening, Michelle, I know you are a valid listener and you always listen to all my podcasts. Please contact me. I'm sure we'll definitely sort something out. But Michelle Keegan, and that's pure to the fact is I like the content she does. She's absolutely beautiful inside and out, and I just think it would be just good to get a woman's perspective on a paranormal experience.
Yeah.
So that's my answer question. That's the answer.
That's the
question
question
answered. Yeah. Next one. What is the most enjoyable event to date that has happened on either an investigation or for After Dark? So you can go first, Brett.
On an investigation.
Well, it's either on an investigation or After Dark, as in After Dark.
The most enjoyable event.
What stands out from everything that we've done, Rio? Is there a moment that stands out? There must be a little moment that stands out for you.
I think just us in general.
That's not an answer. That covers the whole year that we've been doing it. Brett, use your noggin.
I'm trying.
For a guy who's got a brain, you don't like to use it very often, do you?
No,
Don't want me to answer first.
Not give you... Yeah, give me some pointers.
Right, all right, I'll give you some pointers. So I have two. So my first one would be climbing into a coffin in De Grey Street.
Oh, that was good. Though.
Only purely for the fact that this coffin was actually originally used to transport bodies from the morgue to the burial location.
Yeah.
So there was bodily fluids in this coffin, which sounds gruesome, and believe me, it was gruesome. But the owner tried cleaning it, so you can have that. There's a smell of bleach to it.
Oh yeah, it smells.
Which didn't make it any better really, because you could still physically see the stains. But in my head, I can safely say I've climbed into a coffin that has actually been used to transport bodies, and for a lot of years, it's been over 150 bodies have been transported in it, apparently, from what the owner said.
Yeah.
Whether it's true, we don't know, but looking at the state of it, probably was true.
Yeah.
So I wanted to climb in that. So that's my memorable experience on an event. Regarding After Dark, my most memorable one, I would say, and to this day, is editing, starting to edit. So when Matt took a step back and I took a step forward, I was a blank canvas. I did not know anything, and I probably still don't know everything. I don't, to be honest with you. But I was such a blank canvas, and it was such a big leap into something, the unknown, a leap into the unknown. I didn't know how or where to go about doing it, and literally YouTube was my best friend. And I researched the hell on YouTube at how to edit, what platform to use, what software to use, sorry. And now I'm at this stage, which I think is a lot better than what it was when I first started. So editing would be the After Dark event. Brett,
I'm still thinking.
Oh God,
I can't think.
Oh, you're funny.
I was just thinking, then I was like, nothing's. You just about the coffins. What? So you're technically saying you enjoyed going in the coffin?
Mm-hmm. Oh. Well, yeah, because if you're going to a pub or you're going to a family event, and you ask the question, "What's the most memorable thing you've ever done?" And it all went round the table, and it came to me, and I said, I've climbed it, and I told the story.
Yeah, I suppose.
Everyone's going to say, "By Jesus, Mary and Joseph, that's something you don't do every day."
Well, to be fair, if someone said asked me that question,
They have just asked you that
yeah,
question.
I know. Yeah, I mean, on another scenario, I probably would say, because I'm obviously quite proud of myself for doing it.
There we go.
No, it's nothing major. Was literally staying in De Grey Street in that room on my own in the full building.
Oh, for your first 20 minutes of solo.
Yeah, which I didn't want to do it. You knew it for a fact I didn't want to do it.
I did see it on the video looking back that he was nervous.
But then considering I was like, say if someone said, oh yeah, haunted house, and sat in the house.
And it was our first
investigation.
First night there that you did it.
No, I think we've been there twice. That was the second time we've been there.
But even still, that's
maybe still
not
YouTube.
Not bad,
And the history behind De Grey Street, obviously, you look around and you think, oh my God.
I've never known a fully grown man swallow so much.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, when I look back at the editing and I look back at the EVP, it was just a fantastic watch. Every question you asked was followed by about 5 or 6.
Oh, definitely.
The throat was that dry, and it made it so much more believable watching it. And the only worst part of that whole thing was the camera failed.
Oh, did you?
The camera failed, so I can only hear your voice. I couldn't actually physically see you.
Yeah.
Which to this day is a killer, and this is the main reason why we upgraded our equipment straight away, near enough after De Grey Street. Well, I did anyway. because the camera equipment you had there was just prone for having its mind of its own, and you don't want that on any investigation. The camera equipment just turning off.
Yeah, not the failure. Yeah, otherwise that's it. It's just all that evidence you captured.
Spoilt the whole lot. So that's the event. What about the After Dark?
Most enjoyable.
I've got one for you. I mean, I can answer this for you, and this is my personal opinion, but I'm going to wait for you to answer because the general public are sitting every word of the Brett's there. They're waiting. Everyone's poised.
So an enjoyable moment for After Dark.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been one enjoyment. No, there has been one. No, I said that
Here
wrong.
we go.
I said that wrong.
This is where it all comes up, ladies and gentlemen.
There's not been a specific just one occasion. I think just with HGC in general, like one thing, it's brought us closer together. We talk, pretty much daily now.
Yeah, but you don't like it though.
Well, no, you just said that.
You don't?
Just so I don't reply straight away.
No, because you always say, I'm busy. I'm always busy, always busy.
And like I say, the way it's come to, like I say, you've learned the editing, so leaps and forwards at HGC, and
Leaps and bounds.
leaps and bounds.
I would say, like,
You're always correcting me.
No.
And
I would say, right. I just heard someone in my ear saying, "Oh, Dave, can you give your perspective on it?" From my outside perspective, I would say my this question again, but what I think about you. I think, yeah, definitely the solo investigation into Grey Street. That was definitely a memorable moment because I didn't think you were going to do it. I think if it was to be an event, it would be a series of events. Me making you jump sometimes by mistake, or sometimes on purpose, is a very, very good event. I love that. It's very funny and it makes.
But sometimes I just like would trip over and stuff. I just did that on purpose.
Right. Yeah.
The camera.
Okay then. But I think the After Dark event, I would say 110% at this moment in time is your tech that you've been building. I think the SLS has prevailed, and I think that music box is fantastic. And I think for something that didn't take particularly long, didn't cost very much money, but still took your attention, because you building that SLS and that music box get more attention than me messaging you. It does, and it did. So you spent a couple of weeks on both of them. I've got to wait a couple of weeks to get a reply. When I do get a reply, it's I'm busy. Yeah. I'll ask you a question and I won't get a reply, and then I'll say to you when I see you the next time, why didn't you reply? Oh, I didn't think it deserved an answer. Cheers, pal.
It didn't need a response.
I've just been sat there for 2 weeks waiting for a response. You know what I mean? So the effort went into both bits of kit, and both bits of kit have definitely prevailed. Now, I'm saying that for a reason, because we did the revisit of Manchester Arms only a couple of nights ago?
Yes, it was.
Maybe more than that. I've done my set forward work now, so it might be.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Nearly
A few days ago. Just say a few days ago.
Yeah, a few days ago. And the SLS that Brett built.
Bear in mind, it did fail on the first visit.
Yeah, due to one of the battery issues, was it?
I think it was due to me.
I think it was, yeah, just
I just turned it off.
Operator error, yeah.
I didn't let it process.
But this next one, wow.
We made sure it was working throughout.
Yeah, and
I had it literally in front of me all night.
We did pick up a fair few figures, and they were very substantial to the point where we said, I could physically see it on the screen. I was like, "Can you put your arms in the air?"
Oh yeah,
And
that was
arms,
amazing.
yeah.
You were a response. You were a reaction to it.
We did it at the same time.
Yeah.
It was like, whoa! And all I saw was James's face drop, because he was in the chair next to it, and his face just dropped. It's like, oh my god, what are they seeing and I'm not? James was brilliant. If you've not seen Manchester Arms one, please go and watch it. James is the manager of the pub. Now, we've known James for a fair number of years, and we're very lucky to get unprecedented rights to this pub. But because he's manager, he's allowed it. But the guy is fantastic through and through. Every inch of him is brilliant. And he was a skeptic before we'd come along. He wanted to be a believer, but he was very much a skeptic. But seeing this guy's face, because he forgets,
changes just like that.
He forgets the cameras on him.
Yeah.
We're wearing infrared, so he can just see my red light.
Yeah.
Just like with his naked eye.
But it's just the way his face just changes. Sometimes what happens, like that
Brilliant.
music box, as soon as it goes off, it's just face just drops.
And he'll always hear a response like, "Oh, James next to you. Oh, cheers for that, Dave. Thanks for that, mate." And he gets a bit disappointed in himself.
Yeah.
But that SLS though, it prevailed massively. And then the Manchester Arms edits before that, the location before that, when we went there previously, it was the music box that prevailed. So
and that was the first time we used the music box. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said on the first episode of the podcast, I did test it in different scenarios in my house, but it's still not the same as taking it on investigation with you.
No, totally. No, I agree. And it just think you've got a location, you've got one bit of equipment that prevailed on one, and one that prevailed on the other, and it's just, I think that pretty much is your after dark experience in general. I think you've done real well with that.
I totally forgot what, to be honest.
Did you?
Yeah, the
I just think
equipment,
if you take them bits of equipment out,
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. You're gonna lose
the basics, aren't we?
Yeah. Well,
no, we're not. Well,
not back to basics.
No, I
We've
mean,
got
no.
everything else, but I just think
like a basic startup, with an EVP recorder, a camera, because that's all you need.
Yeah.
Like we said, that question that we didn't. What you need to start with is an EVP recorder, EMF detector, and an IR camera. Then everything else will come as and when. In
with it. But I just do think them 2 bits of equipment that you've designed. The fact that you've designed them, that's what I like. You've designed them and they've been tested and they prevailed. And now we're into the March month. We will be going to our all-night sleepover in the prison.
Yes, we will.
Oh, you should have seen that grin from Bet's face then. So having that.
So looking forward to this location.
I know, I can't wait. A solo and a cell for you. Maybe even for me
I did
as well. I mean, I'll do the same.
On the same cell.
Well, no, that's the same. So I'll do a different one. So I split it out.
I was joking. It wasn't be solo.
No, and I think having them 2 bits of equipment on the location, it makes it stand out. At the end of the day, it really does, and I think
it makes it easy for us, doesn't it, to get the evidence we're trying to get. In some sense.
It does, because if you don't have the right equipment and you go on an investigation, you're gonna be picking up, like, if you don't have an EVP recorder, you're going to buy your naked ear or your camera audio. If they don't pick it up, EVP recorder's got such a sensitive set of mics on there, it can pick up the lower tone spectrum of the voice that you can't necessarily hear with your ears.
But then if you haven't got an EVP recorder and you hear something on a location, you think, oh my camera's probably picked that up. You go on the toilet and it's not there. It's like, well, I've not got an episode.
Oh mate, I've had that so many times. But I've heard something in my ears. I've looked on my video camera.
I know which point it was going to be.
Nothing's there.
Yeah.
And then I've looked on the EVP recorder and it's clear as day. And you're like, wow, Jesus, man.
It shows you, doesn't it?
It shows that EVP recorder is very, very sensitive and very good at what it does. But yeah, so anyway, we'll keep blabbing on that question, but that's answered, I believe, anyway. So thank you very much for your question. I'm sorry I forgot to write your name down, but if you've heard the question and you've heard the answer, then thank you very much. Next question. Do ghosts and spirits judge when or if they see us naked? Now, I did mention this in the last podcast, and I think this is where I know this is a gentleman's question because you've seen it as well on Instagram. Another thing, I was looking back at our last podcast. My pronunciation is absolutely atrocious. I don't pronounce Instagram as in Instagram. I go Instagram. It's Instagram.
Yeah, it's Instagram, yeah. Insta.
But when I look back on the previous edit, I was going Instra. What the friggin' hell is Instra? Anyway, that's another story. So my pronunciation will get better over time, believe it or not. I will.
It's all learning curve.
Yeah, learning curve. To speak at 34, Jesus. I would hazard a guess. It's a very valid guess. I don't know, Judge. I don't know.
I don't think it works. Well, it depends. If you've got a residual energy, it's not going to see you anyway. It's just repeating itself, isn't it? A residual energy.
Yeah, a residual energy might not, but if you've got a direct spirit within the location with you, that's literally communicating there and then. I mean, we need to remember what spirits see and what they feel. So we see spirits primarily as either a full-figured apparition, which is very, very good to see, or a ball of energy, an orb.
Yeah.
So do they see us like that? Are they seeing exactly the same thing?
I think a spirit.
Are we just communicating as energies, either?
No, I think a spirit. I mean, there's no proof for it, but I think a spirit would see us just like if there was a spirit behind us now in your room.
They see us full figure.
Just see us that.
What makes you think that then?
I don't know. I just think.
So right, let's go back a step then. You're on a podcast, so your voice regenerates down this mic.
I know how it works.
Yeah, and content people and viewers,
but
listeners.
But there's no proof to what I've just said.
But you just answered a question.
Yeah, but that's what I think in my head. No, that's what I'm.
Give me a reason why you think that. That jacket you're wearing is grey. Do you know why I think that? Because it's freaking grey and I can see it with my eyes. Yeah. No, that's my reason for it.
No, because obviously we obviously when we try to find spirits, we just see like say the energy or an orb of light because that's what they prevail an apparition, which is like a see-through kind of apparition. So you still see the full body on an apparition, and the head, the face, the legs, everything like that. But obviously it's just faded a little bit. It's like if you was, I've never saw one myself in my life, like, but in my head it would be like a misty type apparition. So pretty much like black and white. So I'm assuming to them if they're in this room, they'll just see us as we are now in colour.
Right. So when we go on an investigation, and we do what we do, and we do well, and I turn around and say to you, fucking hell, bet I've just caught a real good orb in front of my screen on my camera. And then we check the audio back on the EVP and it says, "Hi, I see you." So we've seen that spirit as an orb of energy. Yeah.
Coming by, by the camera.
Gives you the idea that they're going to see us as a full-figured person when we're seeing them like what I've just mentioned.
I don't know. I can't explain it.
Another question. When you look at all the paranormal evidence captured over the 100, I'd say 80 years, popularly with no, less than that. I say the last 50 years because technology has progressed enough to be able to see it. How many times have you actually seen a full-figured apparition where you think, "Geez, Mary Joseph, I can see the imprint on his jeans"?
Oh no, you'd never see that much detail. No.
So what makes you think that they can see us like me and you looking at each
other? Because we're here living. I don't know. I can't. Honestly, I cannot explain it. But in my head, that's what I think. We can see them as that. I think they'd see that as.
So 1-to-1 now.
So you're trying to say that. So what you're saying is that they're just seeing our energy. What we.
I believe they're seeing what we see.
What we let off for when trying to build up the.
Well, when we hear a spirit speak and we pick up on the EVP, we hear it via the EVP. We don't hear it. Well, sometimes we can hear it. With our ears. Only just.
It's very rare.
You will, but you will potentially pick it up. How do you know they're not doing exactly the same on their side? You got to remember they're on a different plane of life.
They won't have EVP recorders.
No, they won't. But they might do. You don't know. I don't know. But it could be two different planes of life interacting with each other, and there's just that big wall in between.
What? So when you ask questions, or we ask questions,
they're hearing it exactly the same way as we're hearing it, to a certain extent, or they might hear it that bit more. I don't know. But we only physically see them in a ball of energy state, or sometimes very, very lucky, you'll see a full apparition, or even if you do see an apparition, it's always a half, or you see the upper body or the lower body or something like that.
Yeah, it's very rare to see the full shebang apparition.
Yeah, and 9 times out of 10, if you ask anyone that's ever seen it, it's always in the provisional.
Yeah, it's never direct. It's
never
always
direct,
like
provisional vision, where your eyesight's not literally focused on it, but then
when you still sort of see something.
When I saw that shadow figure at the care home,
it's like peripheral vision.
My vision first.
Yeah.
As soon as my vision my head turned to it, and I focused on, and my brain then, literally milliseconds, realised what I was looking at. It went from one side of the room to the other and disappeared.
Yeah.
So I can understand where you're coming from. Don't get me wrong. I'll never take that away from you. It's my personal opinion. If you think that, you think that,
I can't explain it, but in my head, that's what I think they'd see us as it is now.
I also think the spiritual life have their own laws and regulations.
Oh, you mentioned this the other day, didn't you?
Yeah, I mentioned.
You asked.
I've always thought it. I think. Do you know? I mean, I might have watched too many films in my life. I don't know, but do you know, like, what's that film with Jim Carrey and Morgan Freeman? And he goes like that and pulls the moon towards him.
Where's God, isn't he?
Yeah. Bruce Almighty.
That's the one, yeah. Bruce Almighty, yeah. Good film.
Hey, you finally seen a film that I've seen.
There we go again.
Bruce Almighty just reminds me of the paranormal, because Bruce has to live a life, Morgan Freeman being God, under Morgan Freeman's rules, and if he breaks them, he loses. Bruce loses
get
God
where you're
status.
coming from now, yes.
Yeah. And I just think the paranormal thing is very similar on that same wavelength, where the paranormal have a set of rules. What their rules are, we can keep guessing to the next 20 years. We don't know, but the set of rules might be to not show themselves, or if they do show themselves, not show themselves fully. So it can be 110% where you look like a human being. Yeah. Because you think the people that have said, "Oh, I've seen an apparition. It looked like just like a human, like the one at Binbrook. Yeah, it looked just normal." That's only a person's hearsay. That spirit will have knew that there's no cameras in there, or there's nothing to visually capture it apart from a person's mind. Yeah. So they can show themselves. Maybe that might be a rule and regulation in the upper world.
Possibly, yeah.
Another thing. And when they make a voice, you never hear a full conversation.
No, no.
"Hi Dave, how are you?" It's always "How are you?" or "Hi," or he's always like split
yes.
segments.
Oh no. Yeah.
So maybe that's another rule, not to have a full-blown conversation. Because if they gave everything that they've got fully, then the paranormal will disappear because everyone will just believe.
Yeah, yeah.
So they want to keep the book open. Yeah. You know what I mean? Keep people looking and entertaining it.
And keep people interacting with spirits.
I mean, that's my personal opinion. I mean, other people might have different ideas on it, but that's just some. You didn't even ask me the question, but just my personal opinion on it. And last question. What do you... oh, Jesus Christ, man. I keep forgetting. I write these down. I've just pretty much answered it. What do you think it's like on the other side? Brett. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, Brett gets put on the spot. He really does. And you can hear it in his voice. I can see his visual face, so I know damn when he's on the spot. He's thinking about his Sunday dinner.
I'm not. I'm thinking about a question.
Chilling with a can and watching God knows what on TV.
No, I'm watching the haunted house. On the other side. So on the other side, well, again, going back to the last question, it's like if it's a residual energy, the other side's going to be exactly the same because you're constantly repeating that scenario. But for the general spirits, if they have crossed over, I think it'd just be a really bright room. Not even a room, no walls, just like you get on top of clouds.
Like Bruce Almighty when he's up there and he moves the
similar,
safe.
Yeah, similar to that way.
Jaws.
It's just literally
Right.
it's like a light, but it's not a light, but it's not white either.
Do you think that because you've watched too much paranormal things and they're like predict that it looks like that?
No.
Like when people think of ghosts, they think of a sheet of the head with two eye holes and the eyes looking through. You know what I mean? Or Halloween, you think of a pumpkin, and Christmas, you think of a Christmas tree.
No, what I know what is. No, I don't
you're saying white room, but what gives you the idea it's going to be a white room? Why do you think there's going to be no pigmentation, no pictures, or?
I think I'll go for the white room on the basis of when you go to heaven, you go through the gates. It's just white there. So I'm assuming.
What gives you the idea there's gates to heaven?
No, I mean.
No, but what gives you the idea? Where does that come from?
Just in general in life, growing up.
For you to get an idea, something has to predict and give you the idea.
Yeah, it'll be like, you've seen it in films.
There you go.
Yeah, you've seen some other stuff.
So you've seen so much media.
Well, no, not that. And people, I don't know.
That's not your personal opinion, then, is it? It's what you believe is right, whatever you've seen on TV or something like that. So think outside the box. Think about what you personally think. You've been on investigations. You've gone to locations. You've entwined in what the spirits are trying to portray onto you. You've gone to locations where you might feel heavy, or it might feel sad, or it might feel happy and joyful, or this, that, the other. What's that portrayed onto your head? Because it must give you a vision. Because every time I go to a location, I get a vision of either what their life used to be like back in the day.
Oh yeah, I do. Well, if we go to location, then I'll always think if we get like some responses coming through and things, then I'll think to me while I'm in that location, that spirit's probably if they're in the same room as me, but the room I'm in at the minute is all drawn out. Whereas the room that they're in, they'll have everything there, like the chair, the couch, it'll all still be there.
Don't you think that you're too 21st century?
What do you mean?
You've been brought up too much with the media, too much with technology, to think outside the box. You need to do more investigations, big time, to open your mind up, big boy. Big time.
Open my mind,
dude. Because what you've mentioned is pretty much a film. The white walls, the no pigmentation, the bright light. It's very similar to what a film would portray a spiritual presence to be like. When you watch a Halloween thing, witches, broomsticks, dark, stormy skies, Christmas tree, Christmas lights, Christmas cake, Sunday dinner, Christmas dinner. Sorry, yeah, got it on my manner. So it's a media line that has set things in it to make that person believe that they're looking at this media line to portray it as Christmas, Halloween, paranormal.
What do you think? What's your opinion on the question
of why I think it's what it's like on the other side? I personally think when you die and you take your last breath, it goes black. Listen. For a split second. So like when you're knocked unconscious.
Yeah.
You're black for a split second and you jump in and out of consciousness, and then you open your eyes and it's like you're in hospital. So say you're playing a rugby game, you remember going down because you can see the tree underneath the tree.
Yeah, you're looking up. Yeah.
And you see the sky, the next thing you know, it's black, and then you open your eyes again, you're in hospital.
Yeah, you see like the lights getting pushed down the trolley. Yeah.
So I believe when you die, it's very much like that. But that black part is your energy and your aura leaving your spirit, leaving your human body.
Leaving your body, yeah.
As a spirit. And I believe when you open your eyes up again, you're back to your normal life. I do. I believe you, and then you live your normal life. You do exactly the same thing what you're doing now.
Well, so it's doing the general day by day stuff.
And I think the relapsing thing comes about when you've got such a strong memory, it can't be entwined out of you. So like my strongest memory ever, right now to this day, I would say is breaking my wrist when I was playing rugby. I can feel the pain like it was yesterday. And it's always going to be a memory that's re-looping. So no doubt if I pass away tomorrow, I will keep re-looping that memory of me breaking my wrist. Seriously. Or, for example, a location that you thoroughly adore. Like, my location I thoroughly adore is a little pub in Whitby. Really love it. You have this little cobble road in Whitby in Hull, in England, sorry. Any viewers that listen outside of England. And it's very, like, Harry Potter looking, like cobble road.
I think I know what you mean. Yeah.
Real little pubs all the way down this little line.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it goes like sort of an bend.
In a bend.
I think it's like the smallest pub down there as well. If I'm right.
So, yeah.
Right,
and it's Diddy.
Yeah,
it's really
tiny.
Diddy.
We was there. I was at Woodley that time. I seen that photo of the Abbey, but that pub was closed at the time.
Yeah, and I just remember my fondest memories are in that pub, and I think if I did pass over, I might reside in that pub, and it's really like me having a drink back then when I went with another girl, Kaylee, I think her name was. I think it was named Kaylee. I can't remember. A lot of years ago. But I think when you pass over, there's that black spot. Your energy leaves your body, and then I do believe that you just come back onto Earth and relive it. Now, I do believe it's based on you as a person. I don't believe it's. So, for example, if you got shot by the police for a murder, so the police come, you've seen you murder someone, and the police have shot you and you've died. I believe then you don't get the choice.
That's why you said, someone was...
Circumstances.
Right, yeah.
So if you're a very vicious spirit and you've done something really wrong, God will not give you a second chance, and I believe you'll go to hell. And I believe if you're a really, really strong human being and you can prevail that, you then come back down demonic.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because God can't control you, and I think you come back down to the earth and you're demonic and you've got that extra power to control and poltergeist things and move things and stuff like that. Yeah, I always find when I go to locations as well, the more nicer the spirit, the less they can do, because they haven't got that energy behind them to make their voice known, to make things move, to see them physically as an orb. But the more evil you get, like the gentleman in the Manchester Arms pub, you can clearly hear his voice more clear than Beryl's, because he's more evil, more stronger as a human being back when he was alive, and I think that comes across in your spiritual life as well. I mean, there's different avenues you can think of. There's so many different ways.
It's just one of the things, isn't it? There's no evidence regarding it. So it's just
that's what's great about it. There is no evidence, and that's why.
No one can ever say you're wrong.
No, hell no, they can't.
No, that's what I mean.
Well, it's personal opinion, but this.
They can say you sound stupid, but they can never say you're wrong.
I don't give a flying toss if it's like say it all till the cows come out. I don't care. This field, this game that we're in now. Yes, everyone's got their own personal opinion, but safely say my personal opinion comes through all the investigations that I've been doing for the last 12 months, over a year now actually, and just me tapping into locations when I go to them, and it's just it's like a jigsaw puzzle. It just little bits just fit together the more locations you go to. That what I've just mentioned regarding what I believe life is like over the other side might not be someone's cup of tea, and they might have their own personal opinion, but they might not go investigations. They just might watch too many films like you, but and that's what's
you know me. I don't watch films. I don't have time for films.
What have you watched? Yeah, we all know it. So that's give them the idea what the paranormal is, but that's where the social media and the media presence and films and universe, everything all comes entwined to your personal opinion and what goes on in your head. But when you get a person doing personal investigations to locations that are renowned for hauntings and poltergeists and activity in general, and you go to them locations and investigate to get the content to then edit it to put it out on a platform for the general public to then decipher what they want to believe. Because I've gone to them locations, I'm taking a piece away. Every time I go to each location, I'm taking a small piece away. And after a period of time, it collectively goes into a little story in my head. And so that gives me an idea what I believe the paranormal is. It might change probably. If I got that same question in 12 months' time or 2 years' time,
it could
be different because of the locations I've been to. But when you go to a location and you entwine and you connect to that location and the activity you pick up, you got to remember, I see and feel everything when I do the edit. So every voice I pick up doesn't necessarily go on to the final cut because I know it's not substantial enough, but I physically hear it in my ear. You got to remember, I've been to the location, but I've also edited the location, so I'm seeing a lot more.
You've seen all the evidence regardless.
Exactly. So I'm hearing replies from spirits that necessarily can't be used on the final cut because they can't be substantial enough for the general public to hear, but I'm also hearing them in my ear. So I know that full story from start of the investigation to us clicking on our recording equipment or video cameras to the very end. Whereas you, for example, do not.
And the final edit, it, but also, and if I've been on location, I'll be on location.
You see the final edit, but that's how I choose to portray that story, and what I can physically pick up from that investigation, which is substantial enough for you and anyone else that watches.
Yeah, like you said, your edits are always to do with the story, aren't they?
Yeah, they have. Well, there's a story to every location.
Yeah,
you can never forget that, because if you forgot your story, you forget the narrative. The whole paranormal has a narrative, and the narrative, there's a story to every location. That's why spirits say what they say, and that's why spirits do what they want to do, because they're either in a relapse loop situation, or they've got their own situation story that they want to portray to us, the general living, because they're upset, or they want to pass a message on, or every location between them walls, there is a story. It's just whether you decide to break away from it enough from your human life and detach, to then let the spirits come close enough for you to understand what exactly is going on. And that's why I believe me and Michelle get so much good evidence. It's taken me nearly 12 months to start, lying 6 or 8 months before it really started getting really interesting, of managing to detach myself completely from my human life. I know it sounds stupid, but if I've got a bill that I know I've got to pay, it will sit in my mind until it gets paid. When I go to a location, all disappears. The only thing I can vision is what the spirit's life like there, what's happened in the past, and what I believe is going to get captured tonight. And I think that's Michelle exactly the same. She just detaches from her whole life, because Michelle goes through a lot of issues like everyone on this godforsaken earth. We have issues day to day. We deal with them every single day of our life. She goes through exactly the same thing, just like the next best person. But when we go on investigation, when we travel to the investigation, me and her bantering like crazy, like me and you do, just bantering left, right and centre. Her issues, my issues, this, that, the other, just general talking. As soon as we go to investigation,
gone,
straight to paranormal mode. And it's just really weird how it works out. And I've got Michelle on next week. The next episode is going to be Suicide House, which to this day is up there in the top 3 of locations that I've personally been to. Bet you've been there yourself, believe it or not. You did a revisit there.
Yeah.
Did I do that's gone online, that on it? The revisit. I mean,
no, because nothing happened. It was very quiet.
Oh God. That's that previous question.
Yeah.
So she's on the episode next week, because we did the Suicide House part 1 and 2, which was literally one episode, but we just had to split it in. So me and her did it from start to finish, from me climbing through the window to get into the property, to seeing Richard, and which Richard was Michelle's ex-partner, and Michelle herself stood there in the front room, and then something happens, and again this will be on next week's episode, but she's phenomenal to have around. She really is. Pain in my ass at times, don't get me wrong, but I've known her for over 12 months now, and she's got a heart of gold. But the prime thing is that she's really good at what she does, and she didn't get enough credit for what she does, which hopefully after that I can start pushing that onto her a bit more. But she's on next week's episode. I will put an update on the Instagram. I said it right then. On the Instagram, for her to, for people to send questions to her. She classes herself as a witch and a pagan witch, so she's got different senses and kind of like different powers, if you wish, to what maybe I've or anyone's got. So she can see and envision things completely different. And I know there might be a lot of people out there that maybe have something similar. Is there any questions or anything you want to send in regarding Michelle and that, or anything, investigations that we've done together? Just bounce them in, and I'll ask them. But again, that update will be up on our Instagram, probably today, Sunday. I'll be in sometime tomorrow or Tuesday, something like that. So make sure you can check that out, and also the competition that we've got running on there as well. We still need another 120 entrants, I think. There's a fair number of people that need to enter before we can close that down and nominate the winner. So please jump on that if you can. Again, any questions regarding anything paranormal or even personal regarding me and Brett or Michelle, again, fire them in. Honestly, nothing stupid, nothing small. Send them in, and we will answer to the best we can, and we'll get him on the next up-and-coming episodes. Might not be next week, might not be the week after, but we will get him up on the episodes, and I will notify you personally via DM when your question will be answered, so you can tune in and listen in. But I must say, I mean, I've been blabbing on now, 122.
Must be the longest podcast I've done so far.
123 minutes, but I thoroughly and undoubtedly love and enjoy this platform. I really do. YouTube is my first love, don't get me wrong, but this one is definitely my second. Just the fact that you can get everything off your chest and just talk, and generally just get anything that's going on in my weird, substantial, tapped mind, It's just good to get. It's just good to release, because I know there's a lot of people out there that might listen and might either associate with it or disagree or agree, or I don't know, whatever you want to decide. But it's just good platform to have, to be able to speak about what we do go through on locations, what we do go through personally, what we do go through the paranormal, and in general everything in between. But I would like to say that this, unless you want anything else to say. But
no, that's everything really. I'm just a little tired just listening to you.
Am I talking too much again?
It's just one of your habits. You like to talk, you like your own voice. But to be fair, yeah.
You're bullying me on air. You're bullying. Bullying tactics. No, I do. I would say this is episode 5, done, dusted, conclusion. Everything's finalised from my point of view. But please tune into episode 6. Episode 6 next week, Sunday. We'll be joined by Michelle. Send your questions in, like I've mentioned, and it'll be based on the Suicide House. If you've not watched that episode, please tune into YouTube. Get into our channel, watch it. Fantastic, real good episode. One of the best, top 3 in my eyes. But it's been a pleasure for myself.
And myself as well.
And I'll look forward to speaking again, probably too much.
A lot more.
Next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.